Welcome to the Bronx Hip Hop Oral History Project. Today is Sunday, March 2nd, 2025. I am Pastor Crespo Jr., the research librarian and archivist for the Bronx County Historical Society. Today, I will be interviewing Enoch Torres, a dancer extraordinaire and an original pioneer of the rock dance. I would say welcome, Enoch, but we're in your house. This is great to have you here tonight, Enoch.
It's a pleasure to be here and to share my story, my journey as a dancer. My name is Enoch Torres. I was raised and born in the Bronx, October 22nd, 1958. By 1971, I started to explore the adventures of dancing. By 1972, I was hanging out in a place called People's Park, where everybody in the area, Brook Avenue, St. Anne's Avenue, and other places in the South Bronx hanged out and danced, and that's when I witnessed at the first time the hustle at his first stages. And then by age 13, I was influenced by Soul Train, Fred Astaire, people in the neighborhood, and I started practicing dancing on the side until I was introduced to a person named Anna and George, who took me to a club called Fresh. At age 14, I was gathering the styles of all the famous dancers at that time. You had Dee Dee from the Bronx, you had Rubber Band and his partner Little, and he was doing the jerk, not Rubber Band, but Little. He was doing it very good.
Okay.
And so, looking at these dancers, there's other one named George, and there's other one named Hector, and I started practicing what I learned watching from them, and I developed my own unique dancing style that people tend to ask me, what kind of dance is that? And I said, it's freestyle rock. I just created that, named it up out of my head. I said, it's freestyle rock. And that's when I started.
Awesome. Yeah, and we're going to get into all of that. But we like to start out all of our interviews by finding out who we're talking to. But by doing that, we want to know, where do your parents come from? Can you talk to us a little bit about each of them?
Yes. My father's Puerto Rican and my mother's Puerto Rican. And when I was 2 years old, could go that far?
Yeah.
I witnessed my father shooting my mom. And he shot her in the leg and he was going to kill her. But I was right there in the middle in between their argument. And this was, obviously I couldn't remember, I was two, my mother told me the whole story. And he saw me crying, and then he felt guilty, took the gun, put it on his head to shoot himself, and it didn't go off. And then he threw it on the ground, and then it went off. So I was raised by my mom in a very hostile and abusive environment. So, if I would do something wrong, she would punish me. And a single parent, and my father moved to California. He actually turned himself in. He did his time in my mother told me the name of that jail, the very famous prison. I didn't believe it. Alcatraz.
Okay, wow.
I said, wow, Alcatraz? That was two, so you can imagine it was in the 30s, I think. I'm not sure, but he was in Alcatraz, did his time. Then he went to California, lived over there. When I was like about 7 years old, or 8, we were living in Brooklyn one time, and not too long, and I got lost, or I was hanging out in the beach, and my mother punished me. And the punishment that she bestowed upon me from, let's say just for the sake of time, from the ages 8 through 11, were wires, brooms. I was told to sit in the bathtub with the shower running cold and my hands on the rim of the bathtub, and she'll take the heel of her shoe and hit me. And if I moved it, she said she'll hit me harder, so I would have to stay there. I'll be in the corner with the cookie jar, the big round ones, the cookie jar. She punched holes in it and flipped it around, and I had to kneel down there for an hour in the corner facing down. One time she broke my arm because I blocked the broom. It was an abusive relationship. It was only physical abuse, but I still love my mother regardless, for some reason. Even if someone would try to hurt her, I love my mom. I lived with my father in California for 2 years. I think it was like at age 9 and 10. And he took me and he threw me to the ceiling. He was like her. I guess the parents in that age, they only learned how to punish their children based on how they were punished. And he was a wrestler, so he liked wrestling. So he just, me and my brother Charlie, and he was like physically abusing us. And then one time my mother was going to kill herself, and she had sent everybody away. She took the rope and to hang herself, and nobody was around. All of a sudden, somebody's knocking in her door, and when she went to open it to get rid of the person, this lady from church came and said not to do it. And she started crying because she knew she was going to commit suicide. And we got a history of suicide in the family. And from that point on, she turned her life to God, and she became a Christian, and she used to drag us to church. I was already messed up, and I was a little hoodlum. At age 11, I was in a gang. And
where in Puerto Rico, before we get there, where in Puerto Rico?
Isabela, Aguadilla.
Got it.
That's where my family's from, in my mother's side, and Carolina is my father's side. So that's where the Torres family, and then the Alers family is from Aguadilla.
Got it. And when they came to, did your mother come to New York by herself?
Yeah, they actually were both born here. They from here. They
were both born here.
Yeah.
So let's back it up a little. When did your grandparents? If they were born here.
Yes, both of them were born here. They citizens.
Got it. So your parents,
not immigrants. Yeah.
So your grandparents are from Puerto Rico.
Yes.
Got it.
And I don't know much about them. Only that my grandmother was living with us at one point, and she was almost dead, not talking too much. And my grandparents, my father's side, they were really, really nice people. Not like my mother's side, they were like terrorists.
So that would put your parents in New York before World War II.
Yes.
Okay. Great. Because you would have been born in the 50s, and if they were born here, let's say they were in their 20s, right?
Yes.
But they could have been younger. So yeah, pre World War II. Wow. So where did they move to in New York first? Where?
Well, as far as I can remember, my mother even told me, I was born in the Bronx, and I couldn't recollect anything about that. Mm-hmm. I only could go back as far as when I got punished, and I remember those experiences, and I was about 6 or 7 at that age.
All right. Do you have any brothers and sisters?
Yes, my siblings. I got 2 sisters. They both older than me, and one brother, Charlie. He was also a rock dancer. He passed away. But yeah, he was a rock dancer and he was a hustle dancer, very good dancer.
Okay.
And the only difference between him and I is that he had his own little crowd, and his crowd was our adversaries. I'm from Brook Avenue, he's from People's Park, and we always were fighting against each other. But he was with them, and I was with the Brook Avenue side.
Brook Avenue and what?
Brook Avenue, 140th Street, 138th Street, and 140, 138th Street. So that whole area is where we used to hang out.
Tell me about that neighborhood. And so, in elementary school, what years were you? We're talking the late, early 60s?
Well, in elementary, I remember I was in PS 39, and that was actually across the street from People's Park.
Okay.
And the only thing I can remember that I broke into the school and I stole something, and the FBI came, because it's a federal building, it's a school, and I don't know what happened because I was young. I was maybe 9, 10. I was real young. I really don't know the age. Then you have PS 39, and then you had Berger High School, and then Clark. Those two schools were in that area.
Got it.
And I went to Berger High School. I'm Berger Junior High School, and then I went to and that was around that area.
Got it. Can you talk to me about the neighborhood, during middle school? What was it like? And during middle school, what years are we talking about?
Let's see. If I was 1973, yes. 1972, 1971. Let's go there. 1971. 1971, I think I was like 13, 1971. That area was a hostile neighborhood.
All right.
You had the South Skulls. I was in the Young Skulls. You had the Black Spades. And so I remember we had a rumble in the St. Mary's Park.
So you were in a gang?
Yes.
What gang were you in?
The first gang I was in, I was actually 11. And I was in the Night Walkers. And they call it the baby Night Walkers because I was 11 years old. And I was living in Willis Avenue on 141st Street. And then when we moved to St. Anne's Avenue in 140th Street, they had a whole new set of gangs, which was the South Skulls. And so I was compelled to join that gang, and I was the Young Skulls president.
How old were you when you joined the Young Skulls?
I was like 12 or 13, around that area.
Wow.
Yeah. And I remember having the colors and everything, Young Skulls, and then we experienced, we went to Queens, we had a rumble there. It was like a nightmare, the rumbles that I experienced, It was like things that you could dream about and you have nightmares about. Because our job as Young Skulls, we would have to go to cars and collect the gas with, holes and make cocktail bombs. And then we had to make zip guns with the antenna from a car and rubber bands. And then take the rubber band and the antenna of a car and put it on a piece of wood shaped like a gun. And then they had a 22 caliber bullet, and we would have everything set up, and the older guys would come and say, "What you guys got?" And we need this and that. We'll supply them with that.
Wow.
That was a hostile area. And then you had the bachelors in that area. But then when I faded away with the gangs and I started going to I was part of the Brook Ave Boys.
Okay.
And the Brook Ave Boys, they were, I think Didi, he was the president of that.
You remember what year or what grade you were in? With the Brook Ave Boys?
1973. 1973, 1974. At 1973, 1974, I was already 14. Yeah, by age 14, 1973, all the way to 1975. And just being part of now the gangs, I faded away with that, and I got into dancing, and I was part of the Brook Ave Boys Connected. And so we were just stick-up kids.
Okay.
And that's what we did, and we fought against the People's Park. But we went into dancing, too. And then I just totally left, and I found a new crew. Dancing crew, and I was still part of the Brook Ave Boys.
What were your first dances? You said what was your first dance?
Well, in the area, it was like I got a knee surgery. I would like to demonstrate the dance that everybody did.
Right.
And it was
let me know. I was the camera.
I couldn't do it. Let's see if I can do this. It was a dance that people had to go with their knee and then go like that. And that was it. That's all they did. That was like
how?
The knees.
Okay.
They would wiggle like this, and then you pop back.
Got it.
And then let me see if I remember another one they did. And that was in the 73, 74.
Right.
That they did those steps. But whenever there was a new step that came out, it was the fad.
Did that dance, was that freestyle, or did that have a name?
Well, I think they had, it was rock, everything was rock dancing. The freestyle came when someone asked me what kind of style, and I started saying freestyle rock.
Got it.
But nobody was using that word freestyle. I got that because I figure, it's freestyle. It's like my own thing that I created, and I said, this is a freestyle rock.
Okay.
But
So
everybody was calling it rock.
So when was the first time and the year, if you can remember, that you heard of or saw someone rock dancing?
1972, Dee Dee. And actually, everybody was rocking in People's Park.
In People's Park in 1972?
Yeah, 1972, everybody was rocking. And that was the style, whatever dance, like the one I just demonstrated, that was rock.
Got it. Now, you said you were part of a gang, right? Was there a different style of outlaw rock?
Well, the gangs that I was in, we never had, like they call it, like the outlaws, they dance. No, we didn't have that.
Okay.
Yeah. We were just, if it was fighting, we fought, but there was no dance involved. When I was in Brook Avenue, we were rock dancers, and we were stick-up kids. But there was not something that they do today, or they call outlaw dancing. We never did that.
Okay.
I know that they did it in other parts of neighborhoods, but it was like, it was not a club thing. It was always like a street thing. So when people use battles, the word battles,
okay,
they will battle in places like Hunts Point, Hope Avenue, and a lot of places, even places where the South Coast, I think has something like that, but I never was part of that. And mine was always the style of dance that I was surrounding with was always a style was like elegant and performing.
Got it.
That's all it was. There was no battles. The only battle that they would use then, it was like a dance contest.
Got it.
Whoever danced the best,
So your rock dancing, there was no burning?
No.
Got it.
Actually, I heard the word burning when a person won the dance contest. Oh, he burned them because he did better than his opponent.
All right. So when was the first battle you were in? What year?
I never was in a battle. Never.
All right.
I was always in a dance contest, and I was one that got dance. I never lost a dance contest. Nope, never lost a dance, not that I could recollect. Not that anyone could say neither. I never. Actually, one time, one person in the club started to try to battle me.
Which club?
That was the Fresh. One person came into the Fresh, and I said, you want to fight? Because I didn't even know what the guy was doing. Right. And if you disrespect someone, it was a big deal in that area. Yeah. You have to defend yourself. So I stopped dancing, and I said, you will go outside, we can fight, or you want to dance. And so that stopped that right there. And then, I think in 1974, that's when I seen people doing battles. But it was, I think I witnessed seeing battles in 1974, 1975.
Were it outside the streets or in the clubs?
No, I saw it one time in a club. But to tell you the truth, every time I see something like that, I was like, withdrawal was not something interesting for me. And I would never gravitate towards something like that. And I always witnessed something that was, interesting, elegant.
All right. And do you remember what other clubs did you go to rock dance at? And can you tell me who you went with?
Yeah. You have Anna and George. When I met them, they're the ones that introduced me to the club. They took me to the Fresh.
Okay.
I was like 14, and they snuck me in. And I was like a baby. Everybody looked at me, 14 years old. I looked like 13.
Right.
And you had the people from Brook Avenue. They were there. So the majority of the older people, they were always protecting me. And so you had Dee Dee. You had all the famous dancers there. They had Mike Dominguez and his crew. They had a different crew. They were from Manhattan. And then we were from the Bronx, so the Brook Avenue Boys were there. And then Rubber Band was there.
Now, Mike Dominguez from Manhattan. You know where in Manhattan they're from?
Mid-Manhattan, I think 99th Street, something like that. So yeah, he was around there. And
so a lot of dancing in the early 70s was...
Yeah, the early 70s.
Was Manhattan,
Well,
Bronx.
The majority of the people were from the Bronx.
Okay.
And the majority, actually, it was like 99% Hispanic.
All right.
If there was a black person there, it would be really rare. And there was actually two people that I knew. One, Sparky, and this other person, I wrote down his name.
Yeah, you can look. That's all right.
Yeah, Sparky, and he was a rock dancer, and he was good.
All right.
Let's see if I wrote his
Any other groups, like Italians or anything, get into rock dancing?
Italians, actually there was one Italian guy, and he was part of the group. I forgot. Yeah, I think his name was George, and he was white, the Italian guy, George. Now that you mentioned it,
okay.
I reflect and I start remembering. Yeah. So, like I said, the majority was Hispanic. There was like no, only two black people I seen that I know. But if there was a black person there, we were like. See who's there. I think the black people had their own clubs somewhere else, but not the areas where doing the rock dance. There was no rock dancers other than the two people I just mentioned.
Okay.
In that time, the 70s. After 77, I couldn't really tell you anything after that. I only could say what I witnessed in the early 70s. And then all the way up to 77.
Got it. So in the early 70s, you're enjoying yourself rock dancing. You're going to clubs like The Fresh.
The Ipanema, the Footsteps. The Footsteps was actually...
Can you talk to me about memories of each of those, the Ipanema?
Absolutely.
Talk to me about the Ipanema.
The Ipanema was actually more...
What was that?
It was right across the street from The Fresh, actually. I think it was 47th Street. And then 48th Street was The Fresh, and 47th Street was, and I think Broadway. 47th Street, this is odd that I'm remembering this.
Right.
So for the Ipanema was more elegant. There was not rock dancing, actually. There was more like hustle and salsa.
Got it.
And that was that area, and not really dance contest there, other than if there was a hustle or salsa dance contest. The Footsteps was like The Fresh, and that was really famous. You had people from Brooklyn go there.
Okay.
People from the Lower East Side. There was one guy named Leo and his dance partner, and they were like rock dancers, and they did the jerk, a lot. And a lot of people from Brooklyn too went to the Footsteps. Yeah. And that place, we had to go all the way up the stairs to get there, and it was, as soon as I hear the music there, because it's so loud, and then you hear the beat, I couldn't stop dancing. I would always make a circle when I'm dancing, and there was always a contest there. Always a contest, and every time I got in one, I won it.
Yeah.
I think I lost one time, now that I'm thinking about it. And it was, I think, it was fixed. Because you can always fix, because you know the person. And they'll say, oh, this guy. And the way they did it was a process of elimination. So you had 10 dancers, well, a set. So you have your partner, 10 partners. So you have two people, they're partners. And so you have a person walking around, and then you have 3 judges in the back, or it could be one. And then he'll point to one, and he'll go like that. And he said, take him out. You can take him out until the one's left.
Got it.
And then that's the person that will win. And
it's kind of, you're talking about partners, right?
Yeah.
And I can't talk to Enoch Torres without asking you about when did you meet Papo, and can you tell us about how that came about?
Yes.
Now, Papo Rojas is well known to be Enoch Torres' partner. You two go way back.
Right, correct. So the one that introduced me to Papo was the one that introduced me to the club, which was Anna, and she was famous. She was a rocker. And they had, the girls had their own rock crew, and there was like 4 of them. One of them, Penny, and she was tall, beautiful, and they were all beautiful. And Shorty, she was really good. And then when I was dancing with Anna's brother, and she said, practice, she's the one that introduced me and told me to practice dancing. And we did some dance routines. We got in contests, With him, I think, I don't even remember we winning anything when I was dancing with him. But Anna said, I want you to dance with Papo. She
What
introduced
year?
me to Papo.
What year?
That was 1973, 1974.
Okay.
All right, around there. So I met Papo like 1973, 1974. And then she says, dance with him. And I'm like, I was like, hesitant. I don't know. I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
But she kept pushing it. And I said, okay. So we started dancing. He was like excited. That I chose him to be my partner. And so we started dancing. And when we were dancing every day, I mean, we practiced routines. All the routines that I made up were numbered, and they were related to each song. So the routine for Swear to God, we had a routine for that. So I'll go, because Swear to God, so I did a cross, and then I'll go like this. Everything that I had to do was God. And then the Sex Machine, we had a dance routine for that. And then I will go number one, number two. So we will do the routine based on the numbers.
Got it.
The dancing when I met Pablo, it was around 1973, 1974. We went into dance contests and we were winning. I don't think we lost a dance contest. It's because we were dancing every day, 7 days a week. Even after the clubs finished, we went to hooky gigs. On weekends, we went to Central Park. And in Central Park, our crowd was there. People knew that's where you would hang out. It was not like we were by ourselves. No, it was a crew there. It was a crowd there. The people that went to the clubs, they were there. But when we went to certain hooky gigs, it was not just like that. In Central Park, everybody was hanging out there. Hooky gigs, it was because we were asked to go there. There was a place going there. So instead of going to school, and we were both actually in a truant class, the same class in not high school. You had Clark, and then you had, not Clark, it escapes me. Well, we was in the same school in the Bronx, and we was in the same class. Actually, 3 members of our crew was in the same class, and we never went to school. We were actually in a joint class that was focused on GED. And we went there once or twice, but then we was always in a hooky gig. Mm-hmm. And we was always going to nightclubs in places in Hunts Point. They had a little club there that their gang, it was called Hunts Point, the Hunts Point Boys. We were Brook Ave Boys, they were Hunts Point Boys. And we would dance there all the time.
Was the Hunts Point Palace?
No, they had a little pool table there. It was a gang.
It was a clubhouse?
Yes, a clubhouse.
Okay.
Yeah, and they all had guns, In fact, one experience we had when we were dancing there, one of the guys got killed right in front of me. And I was 14 or 13. And it was an experience I'll never forget, but that was the place we went to, and they protected us. They loved us. Right. So we always went there to dance. They loved to see us dancing, so they would be smoking, they loved us. So we were to us, that was our place to hang out. We always found a place to hang out. If it was not there, it was in Papa's house.
Okay.
Down his basement, where he lived, we would dance there all the time. Always dancing. And it was so much, sometimes when I met up, because I was meeting a lot of new people, and I had one guy came to me and says, can I hang out with you? I couldn't believe he said that to me. And his name was Lefty. He was my best friend. And I said, sure. And I introduced him to Papo and all the guys. And he took me to his place in St. Lawrence, and the whole place was talking about Enoch. And I'm like, oh, so they don't know me. I felt privileged.
Wow.
And they said, I got Enoch here. So, and I stood hanging out with those guys for a while. And there was always something like that happening. And I would disappear for maybe a few days. That's a big deal. Where did Enoch go? And I would come back out of nowhere and already energetic with a different style of dancing. And the reason why I remember that is because Papa was telling me, you came out of nowhere, you did this step, and I did. So, yeah, I had a great time in my teenage years. It was beautiful experiences. In fact, I don't know if you want to know this, but I think I never had a fight. Only one fight I think I had, but I didn't have to because people were always protecting me. One time I was in the club with Jelly Bean Benitez.
Okay.
He was a DJ there.
Was that at the Funhouse?
I think it was. It was in the Bronx. Because it was a place. It was a little disco, but it was in the Bronx.
Okay.
And it was his place where all his people were, and I was going out with his ex. That was the fight, right? But his ex was Papo's cousin.
Jelly Bean Benitez.
Yes,
Right.
yeah. Jelly Bean Benitez's ex, and so I didn't know this, and me and Papo's cousin was dating, and so I was 14 at the time. I was in the club, no, Papa was not around, none of my people were around. I went because she was there. And so somebody went to Jelly Bean and told him, Enoch's here. And he said, yeah, so there's a gang there. So I didn't know that they were already trying to set up, to jump me, right? And then one guy came to me and said, listen, they're going to get you when you go out. I said, yeah, I know. Why? But he said, don't worry about it, I got your back. I said, okay. So when I went down there, they surrounded me. But my age, I was like, I was in the gang, so let's bring it on, And then the guy came out of nowhere, and he said he's with me. And then they looked, he's with you? they all backed up. Yeah. And those are good experiences that I went through, that always somebody there to
Who's that mysterious guy?
I know.
Oh, you don't know?
No, I don't even know. I can't even remember who it was. And I don't think I ever seen him before, but he says, I know who you are. He says, Enoch, and then he says, don't worry about it, I got your back. And that happened to me like 4 times. That people said, oh, Enoch, these people gonna hurt you, or they saw me arguing with somebody, or somebody's disrespecting me, and they jump in. Mm-hmm. And then I didn't have, so like I was saying, I didn't really have a fight other than one time in Home Street. That was it. Home Street, they had a little crew there, so again, I was dating a girl, and then the guy was like, get away from my girl. And he was like, I was 15, and he was like 21. And then he took a knife out on me, so I didn't back up. I was, he came with the knife, and I said, all right, come on. And then I said, why don't you put the knife down? We can fight. And then he didn't want to. There were 3 guys there with guns that I know from Home Avenue. Did I tell you those guys? Mm-hmm. And then there was his brother that was there with a gun. I didn't know that. They told me afterwards. So we were circling for about 3 minutes around the car, because I didn't want him to cut me, right? But I was still there. And so he walked away. And then the guys from Home Avenue, they said, the reason why he didn't put the gun, because he didn't know how to fight. But his brother's there, he's got a gun. But he said, we all got guns, so don't worry about it. We was gonna be with you. And that was something that, to me, God was protecting me throughout the whole time.
Yeah. Can you talk to us about the records and the albums and the songs that you rock to? What were your main songs that you enjoyed that, like, I gotta get out there?
Well, to tell you the truth, Papa remembers most of them. Sex Machine is an obvious one. And I really can't remember, most of the names, but I did say about Swear to God with Frankie Valli. And I like that a lot of smooth songs. Barry White was one of my favorites.
Okay.
And when I hit the floor and nobody was there. I would be the only one on the dance floor, and people just sit back watching me. And if it was a slow, fast song, I'd be dancing. And then, I like, you could name some? I could tell you. I gave you multiple choices, and I said, that's it.
This is your interview.
Yeah. At age 66, my memory...
No worries at all. No worries at all.
I can probably tell you later.
Now, did you ever go professional?
Oh yeah, definitely. At age 15, I joined Latin Symbolics dance team. There was an audition actually in the 310 and a half.
So at 15 was that 74, 75?
Yes, at let's see, 1973, I was 14. So in 1973, I was 14. 1974, 15. that's when George, the manager from the Latin Symbolic dance team, was doing auditions, but he knew about me and Bobo, and he already said, well, he came to us and said, "You want to join our team?"
Okay.
I said, "Sure."
You were invited
But-
to the dance team.
Yeah, so he had the auditions because the Latin Symbolic consisted of 3 teams: the hustle, the salsa, and the mambo, and they wanted one more, the rock team, and so they picked us. We didn't have to audition, nothing like that. They just picked us because they knew, that we had the reputation. So we danced with the Latin Symbolics. We were called Burning Energy, and we did shows in a lot of high-class places. Actually, I can remember one. It was in the across the street from Central Park, a hotel in the Penthouse. They had a show for the Jackson 5 Club. It was something about Jackson 5 Club, and the majority of the black people were up there, and we did a performance for them. We did shows in a lot of colleges, but the names of the clubs escapes me. But yeah, we did professional. In fact, when we started doing shows, a lot of club owners that knew us, and they even let us in because they knew that we attract the crowd.
Right.
They say you can't get in the dance team, the dance contest, and we asked why, and they said, "You guys are professional now. You can't do that."
That's
These
right.
people, and so we couldn't do it, And when we were dancing, we only made like $50,
Okay.
It was not a lot of money, and when we won a dance contest or there was one dance contest, they gave us a room, you could take your girlfriend there, But yeah, we became professional and we did a lot of shows. And then most of it, Papa remembers.
Got it. Did you ever travel outside of New York
No,
for any shows?
everything was actually, actually we did. There was one out of New York that I got a pink eye. And with all that, I still dance because the lights, they for some reason it hit my affection that I had in my eye, and Papa was telling me that experience. I don't remember most of it. He said, "Man, they loved it up. It was a big deal that day." But yeah, if you interview Papa, he would tell you the majority of our shows that we did, and he remembers the name more than me. Got a good memory.
Got you.
Mine has been compromised with drugs and alcohol.
Did you ever perform with any celebrities or any big groups?
Actually, when I started fading away from the dance scene in 1977, because me and Pop were actually, when we started, there was not a lot of shows that the Latin Symbolics were offered. And so it was like 1976 that we didn't do too many shows. And so we were looking ourselves for where we could make some money dancing. We went to the Fred Astaire dance studio one time, and because that was the only place that we knew. There was no Dancing with the Stars like they have now. No opportunities. We went there. When we danced, they were like, everybody stopped dancing, and they went to look. What's that? They didn't know what that was. And they didn't know what to do with us. They said, "Well, we'll give you free lessons. How to do the box trot." So we went out of there learning the box trot. We went one time to Brooklyn because we was like trying to network and trying to look for places that we could try to make some money. We bumped into a dance team, and they were I was telling Papa this today too. They were black people, young kids, and they wanted us to join their little crew. They were not people from the clubs. They were dance teams, I think, from school or they were doing their own little shows, and I was telling them, I think they were doing rock. I don't really remember, but when it comes to people going into the clubs, discos and all that, and doing that early time when the rock was being born, and the freestyle rock, and then it started to change into the B-boys, they were not there, so what was the question again?
It was about if you had danced with celebrities or any well-known groups on the same. Were you building on the same?
Yes. So that's what I was getting to. So when I faded away because there was no dance opportunities, I faded away for like maybe a year. And then in 1977, I went to a club, the Starship. And that was my last club I went to. I went by myself. I met, some people because they said, oh, Enoch, where you been, And then I looked at the performers. It was Sister Sledge they were performing. And I was like, my heart always wanted to be a choreographer for singers. That's all I wanted. That was my goal. Not choreographing for rock dancing. I moved out of that. I knew I was a good choreographer. I did all the dance routines. But for singers, it's what I wanted. When I saw them, I said, these people need dancing in their routine. So I went to the back, and I bumped into a lady, an elder lady, and I said, can I speak to the manager of the school? And she said, what do you want to meet them for? And I said, well, I explained that I was a professional, the Latin Symbolics, and I did choreographing in my goals, and I told the truth, is to choreograph for singers, and I think they need one. And she said, well, I'm the mother, and they are looking for one, so I'll take you to the back and introduce you to them. And so I went to the back, and when they finished singing, she said, she introduced me. She said, this guy's looking for, a job, and you guys are looking for a choreographer, so you guys could get together, So the sister said, they're all young, so they said, let me see what you got, And so they got next to me after I did a few steps, and I said, wow, show me that, how you do that? Oh. And they were doing some steps. We were talking, we were giggling, laughing. We got a good relationship, and for I think the next half hour, they decided actually, they offered me to come for their next gig. They was going to be at the Milky Way Lounge. I never heard of this place, the Milky Way Lounge. And so I said, sure. So they set it up for a week. They said, bring your manager, and I said, okay. I had no manager. I was by myself, and I was like, this opportunity is coming to me just like this. Wow, this is great. I was working as a sandwich man in a deli. I asked the owner, you want to pose as my manager? He was like, older white Caucasian, he looked like a manager, right? And he says, yeah, I want to go. And so, great, I got this guy's going to drive us in his limo. I have a friend that he borrowed somebody's limo. We went there in a black, long stretch limo. And when we got there, they were performing. After they performed, the conversation was short. They were saying, did the same thing we did as the Starship, showed me some steps, I did again, some different steps. They were like, they fell in love with it. And they said, okay, so I want to discuss how we could just make this connection, we could get this done about, the financing and, how to pay and how we could work things out, if you could get your agent to talk to our agent, And I said, oh, great. Yeah, we left there so happy, excited. I said, I got the job. A week later, my first wife's sister was my best friend. She was missing for 2 days. Everybody's looking for her. She was found because she was possessed by demons. I thought it was a lie. I said, you only told your mother that because you don't want to get hurt, right? And she said, no. I was possessed, and these demons, they took 2 days to get out of me. I had a demon of jealousy, demon of suicide, demon, all kinds. I said, those are demons? Oh, I got a bunch of them. As soon as she told me that, I said, call everybody and told me to come pray for me. I became a born-again Christian that day. I forgot about Sister Sledge. I forgot about everything. In fact, I was missing from the dancing for about 3 years, and nobody knew what happened to me. I think Babo got a whiff of it. Somebody said, yo, you're not a Christian now, But that's the last time I started dancing. Other than 35 years later, then Babo searched me out and found me and said, listen, they talking about you. They want to do interviews, and all of a sudden, doing interviews like I'm doing today.
All right. Now, you had mentioned earlier about seeing other rock dancers like Rubber Band. Go back and tell me about that experience with Rubber Band. When did you see him? Where? And tell me about his dancing. What was that experience like?
Well, my observation about dancers is different than other people. I could say I didn't really like the way he danced. Okay. To me, it was like a little wild, all over the place, not coordinated. He also stretches his arm like this, and balance and go. I guess that's why they call it rubber band. But I never seen him do this. I think that he did a jerk maybe one time or two times, but it was always his arms like this, and then he would go like this, and he was more spinning and floor moves. It was not like.
What do you mean floor moves?
He would be on down, and then he'll stretch his leg out, and then he'll spin.
Got it.
You know, so he'll do things like that, and it's not something I was really one time because I know people like to come next to me and try to dance and compete. Mm-hmm. He was, I think he got the picture when he tried to do it to me. He, dancing on the corner, because he knew a lot of people knew I would dance by myself. And I just liked the song and I'll dance, and then I saw him in the corner do the same thing. And then I seen like he was trying to get closer, and I said, okay, I got it, but I'm not gonna go there. So
what club was that?
That was the 310 and a half actually when he did that.
First time you mentioned that
club. Yeah, the 310 and a half. We would go there. A lot of people went there. That's when the Fresh was not open, and the Kontiki, that's another club, it wasn't open. The Footstep wasn't open. The 310 and a half was open.
What?
Everybody went there.
What do you mean, the hours?
Yes. So on the weekends, if they were not open on the weekends, the 310 and a half will be open on the weekday.
What was the 310 and a half at?
That was on Prospect Avenue and up in the Bronx, around Hunts Point area. So I don't know the address. I'm surprised I remember Prospect. It was underneath the is that a 2 train, 4 train? Around I think the 2 or the 4. I don't remember. D. Wood Clinton is a school that comes to me. That I mentioned. I forgot the name of the school. I was in D. Wood Clinton High School that me and Papa was in when we went in high school. That was D. Wood Clinton.
Now that's far from Brook Avenue.
Oh yeah.
That's a journey.
We had to take the train. Always take the train. The train was an experience in itself. We would always go to the back, and then in the back of the train, it was always hostile. Always a bad experience in the train, but you had to be tough, in that time,
Tell me about the trains. What kind of graffiti, tagging did you observe? Did any stick out to you?
Actually, mine was Chino 140 because I lived in 140, and they called me Chino. My name Enoch came after when I came into dancing scene, but in the when I was in gangs, nobody called me Enoch. Everybody called me Chino. That was my name. And Chino, I would write Chino. I would tag Chino 140, but I didn't really was really into it, and so I couldn't really say anything about tagging. I know a lot of people were into that.
Did you notice any of the tags?
No.
No?
Yeah, I couldn't say, this one, I was not into it, I only did it out of just...
Was that middle school when you were tagging or high school?
Actually, that was around ages 13 to 14. At 15, I didn't even do none of that. Everything just... I got into a different world, different attitude, different personality, everything like from gangs and tagging and all that faded away. All I was thinking about was dancing, and trying to perform and impress people. Especially girls.
And any other famous rock dancers that you observed?
I did write some down so I don't forget.
Yeah.
I had Hector. Okay, there we go. Popular dancers, Dee Rubber Band. Partners, Little was the best in the jerk. Nobody, even today. Well, no, I saw some people doing it really good. But he was at that time. He was the number one in the jerk. Little, and then I met him a few times in jail.
Right.
And then you had Johnny and Hector. They were really good. They as a dance team, dance partners. They had some routines, some really good routines. And everybody, they make circles. And then you had sometimes rubber band dance with Mexico. And like I didn't tell you too much about rubber band's dance, but he was like Mexico too. So they were a little wild, They were like their dancing was not really. They good couple because they were wild. It was not elegant. It was a little crazy. Mm-hmm. It was not coordinated, but Mexico will come with these high heels.
Uh-huh.
Platforms, they call it, real high, and he would dress different colors, and like Mexican, right? So, and him, they both love each other. It was like dancing. I really didn't have, I don't know why people liked it, but I didn't, Roman was a nice guy, when he got killed, from a friend of mine, because $1, I heard he owed money, $1 for a joint, and the guy that killed him, he didn't really meant to kill him. He just wanted to hurt him, but he stabbed him in his chest and killed him, But
did you witness it?
yeah, I was there. It was in St. Mary's Park, Actually, I didn't witness it. I was there, and then they told me, Robert man just got stabbed. I said, what? Yeah, this guy just stabbed him. I said, what? Wait, but they're both my friends, but Robert man was not really a friend of mine. He was just an acquaintance, But the one I killed him was a friend of mine, and everybody there was always like trying to. I guess he didn't like Rodan either. He gave him a credit, but yeah, I witnessed it. And him and Mexico, when they were dancing, they were like, like I always remember that. They always wow. I would do it, perform a little bit, But again, my knee surgery.
Got it.
I will mimic some of the stuff he did, but his stuff was like interesting. Diddy was really good, elegant, and styling. He put his foot out like this and like pointed, and he was like you could see some style in there. And then who else that I sing? Not much. That's why I said the Soul Train dancers, they were like soulful, and then I got influenced by that. And Fred Astaire was one because he was really stylish,
right?
And I got a lot of that out of him.
Yeah.
And who else that dancing, right? That I didn't mention. You had a few rock dancers.
Now, I gotta mention this. Did you ever venture out to Brooklyn to rock dance?
The salsa, something with an S. I don't remember. I think I went to Brooklyn one time. Yeah, I went to Brooklyn one time. There was a club there. I don't remember the name. But it was not, no, I don't think I went there to like a contest or something. I don't remember really, tell you the truth.
You don't recall any Brooklyn rockers?
The only one that I thought was from Brooklyn was Rubber Band. I thought he was from Brooklyn. They said, no, he's from the Bronx. Nah, there was no Brooklyn dancers, I think they started coming after '77, that people started talking about I Know Now, and they say I seen their videos and stuff. But by '77, I was already out, But yeah, I don't remember anybody from Brooklyn. Everybody was either Uptown Manhattan, 99th Street, or the Bronx.
Got it. Now, forgive me because I took some notes here from the last time. And there's a mention here on there was a crew on the Lower East Side.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Guns and drugs. Talk to me about that.
Yeah. Actually. They called what they were called the Hitman. The Hitman. Leo was the leader.
When did you find out about them? When were they around?
I found out about them because a girl that I was dating, she said, "I'm gonna get somebody after you."
What year?
That was 1975, 1976. No, 1976. 1976. I was dating a girl. She was disrespecting me in the club. Everybody was watching us arguing, and she was from a distance. And I said, "You come over here, I'm gonna slap you." I didn't think she was gonna come over here, so she came and I had to slap her. So I never hit girls, but that day I did. And a week later, someone said she got somebody. She said she's gonna get somebody after me, and then the person that she was gonna get was this guy named Leo, and Leo was the president. He was a hitman. He was a real hitman. That was the name of the group, but he was a killer, So I had Orlando and Tommy. Now Orlando's the guy that killed Rubber, And then I told them, to come with me. I'm going to go see this guy. I don't want him to come after me. Let me go after him. They said, "You crazy? I ain't going over there. That guy's a killer." And they were scared of him. And I said, "Okay, I'll go by myself." So I went by myself, and I went straight to 12th Street and Avenue B. That was their spot. As soon as I went there was 4 guys in the front of the building. I went into the building, and they said, "What you want?" I said, "I want to see Leo. I just want to talk to him." He says, "He's back there." It's a long hallway, 4 guys in the front, and you got 6 people in the hallway. He's all the way in the back, sitting down like this. He looked cool, right? And as soon as I walked in, I didn't even get time to talk. He said, "Enoch!" I said, "Yo, this is Enoch." He told us every whole screw. "Yo, this guy beat me in the dance contest in the footsteps," and he kept talking. He didn't even know what I was there for. And then when I finally told him, I said, "I'm here because this girl said you have a contract to kill me." And he said, "Get out of here." He says, "I don't even know that girl." It was so funny, and he was so excited to be there. He took me to Avenue. That day, I stood there for like 5 years. My girl lived in that. My first wife lived there, and everywhere he took me to Avenue D, all the places, they were like, he was a king there, and they said, "Yo, this is my man Enoch," and he introduced me to everybody. After he introduced me, everybody respected me because I knew Leo, and he became best friends. We were best friends, and he was a killer. And then when I got born again, and he went to jail for murder, he came out. Oh, before he went, he said to me, "How was the jail? I know you went to jail." I said, "Well, anybody disrespect you, don't even do, just punch them. That's how you got to do it there." And then he came out of jail. He said, "I'm happy, everything's good." I said, I'm a born again Christian. I told him, "Don't do this, don't do that." I told my God I was trying to. He went back to the thing. They hired him as a bodyguard. He went and killed more people. He had like 5 bodies. He went back to jail. I think he's in jail now. But yeah, I met Leo. He was a great dancer. He did the jerk, and with his partner Cool Breeze. I just remember his name. Cool Breeze was a good dancer. They both had nice routines. They were good dancers. Cool Breeze and Leo, they were the ones that they went to Brooklyn and did dance contests, and they beat a lot of people from Brooklyn. And I think people know who they are. Cool Breeze and Leo from the Lower East Side, and they're part of the Hitman. That was the name of the gang that time, 1975, 1976. I think all the way to, because even 77, they were still around, because after that's still, I think 78, that's when they stopped. Everybody went to jail or they died. They got killed, But yeah, Cool Breeze, that's Cool Breeze and Leo, they good dancers. Yeah, they went to a lot of dance contests. And I think people know them from Brooklyn, like I said.
Got it. Growing up in the 1970s, being Puerto Rican, the 70s must have been the height of FALN activity.
Oh, speaking about that.
It's exactly why.
My cousin is part of that. FALN.
Right. FAN.
Yeah, the FAN.
Fuerzas Armadas de la Liberación Nacional.
Yes, my cousin, actually, I met my cousin.
I hope I didn't butcher that.
No, check it out.
Only macheteros coming after me.
When I became a born-again Christian, I backslid 5 years later because I was told that if you get divorced, you can't get remarried. And I said, well, if that's the case, I'm going to go to hell. Might as well go all the way. So I became a career criminal. So much that I was arrested from the FBI. I did time in Lewisburg Penitentiary that was really for high-profile criminals, hijackers, bank robbers, terrorists.
How'd that come about that you got arrested?
Well, they had Operation Pressure Point where the FBI was looking for people that were working in that area on Avenue D on 10th Street. And so I was
back on the Lower East Side again.
In the Lower East Side. I was told, some guy that I knew, he was a drug dealer, he said, do me a favor. There's these 2 guys from college. Can you check them out? So I said, okay. I went to the car and looked around at the car, and they looked at me like, what is that doing? Well, I want to see if there's any cameras, anything, right? And I checked them out. They looked okay. I said, okay. And I went upstairs. I said, yeah. They wanted to sell 2.5 ounces of heroin. And the guy says, yo, I'm going to give you something. Get you a little crew. And I had a crew. I had 6 guys under me. And we set everything up. I said, I need you to over in the corner, you on the roof, you know. And then something happened that I wasn't there when we was have that the deal was supposed to go down. All of a sudden, everything was set up for 2nd Avenue on 8th Street. The person that was working the hot dog stand was an FBI agent. The lady with a baby carriage, the person next to the newspaper, there were like 10 FBI agents and everybody got arrested. They didn't catch me because I wasn't there, but they knew who I was. And so my name was not Enoch. You know, when I'm a criminal, I'm not only dancing Enoch. I was again, a JR, not Gino. I was JR. Everybody knew it was JR. And so they were looking for me. And why they looking for me? I wasn't there. You know, it was called conspiracy. I didn't know what that was until I found out later. I got arrested for a gun charge because I had a drug spot on 2nd Street and Avenue D. So that was my spot. I got arrested like 3 or 4 times, you know, there, and I almost got killed 3 or 4 times. I almost killed a few people, you know. But even the 2 cops that I saw that was beating up this guy, and I was, always, under the influence of drugs and everything. Well, just to those little details, they caught me after I beat a gun charge and a drug charge, because it was under a girlfriend that I was with. It was under her name, so they let me go. But the 2 FBI agents was outside waiting for me, and so they said, "Remember us?" I said, "Yeah, but I didn't do anything." They said, "You're arrested for conspiracy." And when they grabbed me, I had a crew in the corner. They were watching it, and they got guns. And they were going to shoot these FBI agents. They were like 20 years old, 21. They were like young. And they just ran. They started running in the car, got me in the car. The whole process, they said they're going to give me 5 years, and then they said they dropped it to 15 months, right? Because they said conspiracy. I was supposed to go to the camp. I didn't go to the camp. I went behind the wall because the cop told the guy, the bus driver, when they took me, they wanted to kill me. I was supposed to be dead. And they were supposed to set it up where I was supposed to be dead. So when everybody's going to the camp, they put me behind the wall. Whoa, that's for 25 years and up. 15 months for a person to go there. I knew something was wrong. But my cousin was recruiting people. He said, "You Puerto Rican?" And I met him there. I didn't know he was my cousin. I found out later. I said, "Yeah." He said, "Where you from?" And he got all my information about my mother's side. And he says, "Oh, swear, you my cousin." Before he said, I told my mom, and I told this guy, "Sure, that's your like 5th cousin." Oh, forget it. If it wasn't for him, I would have been dead. When he found out I was there for that time, he said, "Don't tell nobody. If anything, they say 15. They're going to give you 15 years. Even that's little." People were getting killed there every day. They had stretchers, and they were every day. I mean, when I was there, we had killed this one person because he cut one of our crew while he was sleeping. But we killed this guy. And it was a big thing there. All the turns I went through. But when my cousin sent a letter to the warden, they said, "Get that guy out of here right away." They transferred me to the camp where I was supposed to be because the warden found out. And when I got to the camp, I was a king there because they said, "You came from me out of the way, scared of me." But why I said that for? Sometimes I come back and I say things. Well, I was in Lewisburg Penitentiary. I almost got killed. My cousin was from the Flan. There was 6 of us. That was a crew there. They didn't touch us. Nobody touched us because they knew who we are. 3 bank robbers, right? My cousin was in there for killing 2 police officers in the Lower East Side, and he was in the FAN. He was part of that in Puerto Rico, and he was recruiting people as Puerto Rican to be part of the FAN too. And actually, they all were bank robbers. They had Mikey Castillo. He was a bank robber, and there was this guy called Mundo, and he looked like everything is like, forget it. And God protected me, man. Everywhere I went, even one time I was in Rikers Island, and they had a riot, and the blacks and the Spanish. At that time is when I heard on the radio that God could forgive me. That God, whether you kill somebody or you divorce, God will forgive you. And you go back. I said, "What? I didn't know that." I ran to the chapel. I gave my life to God. and I became born again Christian. But while I was there, I had to do my time. And so I met my friend, and he's a good dancer too. Now that I think about it, Little was there, and this guy Felix, he's a good dancer, and he was a karate expert, and he was a big shot in Rikers Island. So he told me I'm his brother. Oh, that's your brother? Yeah. Everybody respected me, right? We was like 4 of us in a circle in the yard, and the Muslims and the Spanish were talking. One Dominican guy was there. Dominican. So the guy that was with me, he's a Dominican. And while they were talking, because they were trying to resolve something, he slashed them in the face, and the whole face opened up. Blood just splished out. And the guy that was supposed to be like my brother, my bodyguard, say, he went, oh, he was surprised. So he didn't know he was going to do that. The guy was nuts, right? All of a sudden, as soon as he did that, all the black people, everybody, it was a big riot there. People knew that I gave my life to God, I think, I don't know, because they were running after it. Everybody would get slashed. When
This was Lewisburg.
No, this was in Rikers Island.
Rikers Island, okay.
And so as soon as the guy saw me to cut me, he just ignored me. Another guy did the same thing. Nobody was start touching me. I was like, thank you, God. And they said the whistleblower, everybody get down on their knees. I got down on my knees. It lasted for about a good 3-4 minutes. That time a lot of people got hurt. But I only mentioned that because that experience, man. I should have been dead there in Rikers Island, and I should have been dead in Lewisburg.
Right.
That's the reason why I mentioned it,
Got it. Can I quickly take there's this banner up here that I want to, boom. I just wanted to show everyone that banner there, Enoch and Papo Dance Studio.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool that you still have that.
Well, that after 35 years later, after all the experiences I went through, I was tracked down by Papo saying, Willie, Marine Boy Willie, he told Papo that people were looking for me. Then Papo reached out and said, no, they're looking for you, they want to interview you. And so I said, okay. So then I said, let me get the banner. People started coming out of nowhere. I just offer anybody that wants to, learn. I didn't charge anybody anything because I'd rather them take this out to different places, and share what I've learned. That's an honor for me, it's like a big deal.
Awesome. And any other dancers that you recall dancing with that you haven't mentioned at all?
Actually, there's a few people, but their names escapes me. They were. Let me see if I could put a number to it. And they were like good dancers. Let's see, 15 people that they were good dancers, and those are people that if anything that I will mention, they're good dancers. But other than that, the people today that they say they were out, if they were not around in the 70s, all the way to 77, and I never seen them. I can't really vouch or validate anything from that.
Got it.
But after that, if they say they went through something, then no one can say they didn't, because that's what they experienced,
Right.
I know a lot of people call people liars, stuff like that.
Got it. No. That's an awesome, rich history. Now, did you ever return back to dancing? And to do workshops or anything, lectures?
Yeah.
Talk to me about that. And when did that happen?
Let's see. Was it 8 years ago? And I'm guessing it could be less, it could be more.
Okay.
But yeah, we were offered to go to a few places. One of them is on the wall over there that we went to. We did like 5 or 6 workshops.
Okay.
And again, their names escapes me.
They'll
probably come back like 2 minutes later. But it's people that you know. You had let's see, Fable. He did an interview with us, and we started hanging out when I met him.
Fable the Popper?
Yeah, Fable popping. Yeah. the Popper people.
Okay.
And let's see, Wiggles. Actually, he started talking to us, and I didn't know who he was, but he said, "I remember you." And on Longwood Avenue, you guys had that club there, and we did have a club there. And in fact, I did my own dance team. You know, it didn't really got off the ground, but I had people come and audition. You know, in that area from Longwood Avenue, the Bronx. And we had a lot of dancing going on over there. And Fable said that he seen me dancing there, and that, you know, he picked up some steps, you know, watching me. And I'm like, oh, that's good. I could tell you a lot of people probably said, you know, that he watched me, they picked up steps. I know some people start doing some steps. I said, oh, you're trying to do the step that I did. And they do it right, but they tried. Wow. There's a step that go like this with their legs, but the one I do is like this, cross my leg and open, cross my leg and open. And then they won't. That's not how you do it. You know, I know one guy tried to do it. He was actually from the Hitman. Forget his name, but he was like, "Oh, they go Enoch," and he go like that to like mimic me. That's not how you do it. And yeah, I see people do some steps and try to mimic me. But yeah, Wiggles I met, and who else did I meet? Oh, Warrior, Crazy Smooth. Worry, the Warrior?
Got it. And these are all people that you've met in the last recent 10, 20 years?
Right, the last actually...
the 2000s?
Yeah, the last actually 10, yeah, could be 10, could be 7, not 20.
Okay.
Yeah. It's recently then, yeah.
Last decade?
Yeah.
All right. Well...
And let's see, who else? London. I mean, London, he's a real good friend of mine.
London Reyes?
Yes.
All right,
yes,
awesome,
yeah.
awesome.
London Reyes, and I met a few people that they start to keep the rock alive, and that was that honorable, you know, that people talk that, you know.
You got to go to Brooklyn.
Yeah, King Uprock. I saw his videos, and I like the idea that he kept alive when nobody was. But then every time someone came, and then after, you know, according to what he was saying, I couldn't understand why people won't give him props. You know?
I was at one of his rock chants yesterday.
Oh,
in Brooklyn.
Good. I was worried that you didn't like him.
No.
Yeah, he gave me the impression that he's a likable guy, that he's not lying, you know.
Yeah, very humble guy.
And yeah, that's one person I would say that he came here. You know.
Did he come visit you?
Yeah, he
awesome.
came a few times.
That's big respect.
Yeah, we became friends, you know. And I told him how I felt about him, you know, that he's a nice guy. I appreciate what he's been doing, you know, and everybody else that said things bad about him, I told him I don't really approve of that, you know. That's really silly, you know. If you say you witnessed something like that, and if they wasn't there, they can't say that you wasn't.
Yeah, you got a lot of that these days.
Yeah, that's
awesome. You know, we like to end all of our interviews by asking one last question. What does the Bronx mean to you?
Well, the Bronx is actually, for me, you know, a place where a lot of how high-profile people came out of, and it gave birth to a lot of important people that are important today. And it's a place where, you know, people struggled to get out and left with, and as long as they're alive, they're left with quite a good experience, you know, that they could use for their future, you know. They survivors. Bronx is a place that if you survived it, you're a person that's an asset to themselves and to their families. Because you know how to survive in the Bronx. That means that you are a survivor. I hope that makes sense.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Again, this is Pastor Crespo for the Bronx County Historical Society, the Bronx Hip Hop Oral History Project, with Enoch Torres, rock dance extraordinaire. Thank you.
Thank you.
Peace.